just let you know, we are going to help your students navigate the start of their first semester through the various parts of orientation. So part one is academic success. Again, that's on Zoom. They meet with their advisor. They register for courses. Part two of orientation is student success. At student success, if you are a first year student, we will have your students come to campus. That is where they get to meet other peers, meet continuing students. They get introduced to the various resources on campus, and they get to choose which workshops that they want to participate in. So again, another great talking point for you and your students. If they have not selected their workshops for their part two orientation, or if they're not sure if they've seen those confirmation emails, check in with them, help them navigate. I know they always, some of them think that they have it under control, they got it, I'm on top of it, mom, but you know, it's part of our jobs to make sure that they have a support network and they're able to transition, especially coming out of, we're not really truly out of COVID yet, but we're in that phase where we're coming out of COVID, where folks were stuck at school. They, you know, had to do online learning, Zoom learning. And so now at the college level, they have lots of options. They can come to campus. They can take a Zoom class if they want. They can take a class that's fully online. So just check in with them, make sure they're doing all right. And if you know they have any questions, have them reach out to us. We're happy to help them navigate what their next steps are going to be. So with that, I just wanted to make one more note that this is going to be recorded. Happy to have you all here, and let's get started. So in true orientation fashion, I am going to ask you all parents and students, if you're on here, this might be familiar. If you can open your chat for me, and if you can let us know, where are you Zooming in from, and what is your favorite dessert? Maybe it's a favorite summer dessert, maybe, I don't know, like just a favorite all around. Where are you Zooming from, and what is your favorite dessert? I'll even join in. Ooh, creme brulee, I love creme brulee. Oh, I love it. Everything is just rolling in. We've got springs, creme brulee. Denver, Colorado Springs. Ooh, Texas, tiramisu. Yes, oh, love tiramisu. Breckenridge, Denver, Thornton. Oh, Costa Rica. I love it. Boise, hello. Oh, we've got folks from all over Albuquerque and Thornton, Nepal. Welcome. Thank you all for being here, especially those of you who are not in the States with us. New Jersey, Littleton, another creme brulee, ice cream. I'm with it, especially these past few days. Texas, oh, banana pudding. Yes. Tiramisu, Erie, ice cream, chocolate, anything, strawberry shortcake, Pueblo. Hey, Tori, that's my hometown. Shout out to Pueblo. We got Parker, Erie, Denver, Los Angeles, Denver, Chicago, Roxborough. Oh, I love it. Tijeras, New Mexico, Wheat Ridge, Wyoming, Springfield, Lima, Peru, welcome. I love this. This is always one of my favorite parts of orientation. You all, we ask the students the same thing. Where are you Zooming from? Don't always get to the cake. We usually, or the dessert, we usually ask them what their major is, but it's always so nice. We have folks in state, out of state. We've had Argentina as well. We've had people from England, Mexico, Canada. It's been amazing to see the diversity around literally the world, the country of where our students are coming from. So all right, with that, I'm going to do a quick little overview of what you all can expect. So yes, I'm not here to just talk to you about orientation and what your students are going to go through. You are all really here because you want to hear, what is this Finances 101? I'm sure you have questions. So represented today, we have our Bursar. Our Bursar is a fancy word that just means billing office. So Bursar, billing, those are the folks that are going to handle the tuition, the bills, the fees. And so we have Jason O'Connor here from that office who will be talking to you about what the Bursar is, the processes, important dates to know, and answer some questions that you might have. Additionally, we have representation from our financial aid and scholarships office. That is going to be Monica, and she is going to ask or talk to you all about the financial aid process. So what does that look like? We're getting closer to the start of the semester. What can you expect? What things should you be aware of? So those are the two main offices that are here. We do have some folks that are going to be monitoring the chat. So that's going to be myself. We've got Kelsey Miles, part of our student transition and family engagement team, along with Kristen Fukumoto. We'll have Christy Heaton be joining us later. So we have folks that will make sure that we get your questions answered. And if we can't answer them today, we will definitely be following up with you tomorrow to make sure that you got your answer or your question answered. So with that, I'm going to turn over my virtual mic to Jason. And Jason, as I said, is with our Bursar, which is also the billing office. So he's going to talk to you all first about Bursar functionality. Jason, go ahead. It's all yours.
Thank you, Alicia. And hi, everybody. Welcome. Before I even get into it, I want to say thank you. Thank you for even considering CU Denver. College is a huge undertaking, and we really appreciate you joining us in this journey. And we promise to take good care of your students. What I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of give a basic overview of the Office of the Bursar, what we do, some of the ways we can help you. Feel free to drop any questions you have in the chat. And I'm going to start by showing you a little PowerPoint. So hold on one second while I attempt to utilize technology. Okay. So you should all be seeing the PowerPoint now. Can I get a thumbs up? All right. Yep. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So there we go. We're the Bursar office, the billing office, as Alicia said. Our actual location is in the 5th floor of the Student Commons building, also known as the Qdoba building. If you're new to campus, everyone knows there's a Qdoba on our 1st floor. We're up on the 5th floor in suite 5123. You can reach us by phone Monday through Friday from 8 to 5. That number is 303-315-1800. And you can always send us an email as well. It's bursar@ucdenver.edu. We answer those usually with probably less than a 24-hour turnaround time. So feel free to send us any billing questions or questions in general, and we can get you to the right area. But feel free to email us. My name's Jason O'Connor. I'm the business service manager or the customer service manager of the Bursar office. If you ever feel like it, you can give me a call. My direct line is right here on the slide. It's 303-315-1830. Just so you know, when school begins, we will be operating Monday through Friday. We do keep a little bit of different hours because we have to count money and close out money at the end. So we're open from 8:30 to 4:30, but our phones are always there available from 8 to 5. So the Bursar's office. We are a staff of 20+ people here to help you with your financial needs. We service both the AMC and the downtown Denver campus. There's 4 different main areas that make up the Office of the Bursar. It's the customer service area, the third-party billing and credit balances area, the student debt management area, and the Bursar operations. If you guys can't tell, I do really like Star Wars. That's why it's all on there. Sorry, I forgot to mention that in the beginning. Sometimes it takes people by surprise. We are the billing office, but that is not all we do. We do additional stuff like working with third parties. If you have a third party entity that is paying your bill, usually a business, or it could be a tribe or even a country that is paying your bill. We do those all in-house here. You'll want to reach out to our office. We also give your students their 1098-T at the end of every year. That's the tax form that you need to fill out. We manage a payment plan. We also deal with extended payment plans if you're struggling. We process all refunds in our department. We process interdepartmental payments, which are payments from offices within the university to our office. And we're just here to help you understand the cost of college. If you ever have questions on your bill or have questions in general about what is entailed in the cost, what the charges represent, call us. We're experts in that and we can help you out. Going into some of this other stuff, we do have a payment plan for students. It's a 4-payment plan that will divide your payments equally throughout the term. I'll go into that a little bit more later, but just know that that's one of the things we do. Extended payment plans are for people that couldn't get the bill paid within the term. Once again, we understand college is pretty expensive. Sometimes you need a little extra help. We have a section in our office that is dedicated just to do that kind of stuff. So that's a little bit more about the Bursar's office. Here's our address. I just bring this up because if you're paying by check, the address you're going to send it to is an Aurora address. That's our medical campus. So just be aware, all of our payments are processed down at the Aurora campus. Don't be scared by the Aurora address. All checks need to be made payable to the regents of the University of Colorado. That ensures that we process them. And then also make sure your student ID number, your student's student ID number is on that check. That way we make sure it gets applied to the correct account. Okay, so we like to provide transparency for our students. So on our website, right there at the top, there's a link, www.ucdenver.edu, student-finances. That's the Bursar's website, another way to get to the Bursar's website. And on there, you can find our various tuition and fees, graduate, undergraduate. They're all posted out there for you to see. This is an example of our upcoming rates for the 2022-2023 year. I want you to know ahead of time, we charge by the course, not by the discipline. So don't be afraid if you're in if your student's in digital animation and they're taking an English course. The English course itself will get the standard tuition rate, which is usually, this is the $465 is the resident rate. All students who are residents are eligible for a COF stipend. I'll go into that also a little bit more later. So it brings the tuition rate down to $361 per credit. And then if they do take a digital animation course, that course is charged at $1,131 per credit after the COF stipend. So this is a site you may want to look at just to kind of review. There's also a tuition calculator on that site, so you can get an overall idea of what the full cost entails. It's just, and it breaks down our individual fees, tells you what they're paying for. It's a good site to visit just for questions about the bill. So I want to go into some of those fees that we charge, just so that you understand the difference in the different types of fees we have. We have 2 different types of fees. They're a per term fee and a per credit hour fee. The per term fee is charged once per term. It's a fee like the Auraria campus fee. That fee is assessed at $120.20 per term at the 2022-2023 rate. And then we have other fees that are per credit hour fee, like the wellness center fee. That pays for our on-site gym and training facilities that we have here at the Denver campus. That is assessed at a $12 per credit hour fee. It's important to know the difference between the two, just so you can look at your bill with educated eyes. If you are coming to our campus, you can expect a good estimate of fees for a 12 credit hours is right around $550 per term. That'll pretty much cover you. There may be a little bit of fluctuation, but that roughly covers it. That does not include instructional fees and program and course fees. Those are fees charged by the individual disciplines that the class that your students may be taking. So if you're in a CLAS class, they have a fee that is assessed just for CLAS students. So look at those fees. They are broken down by the per term fee, the instructional course fee, and then additional fees, which are like that stuff like late fees and service charges, but we don't like to talk about those. But we will. So, okay, this next part is going to be a little bit redundant because I'm going to say some of these dates multiple times, but just know that it's because it's important that you know all of these dates. These are dates that are key to your success or your student success throughout the term. So these dates all reference fall 2022. The first date is July 25th. July 25th is when you will be able to see the charges on your account. You need to be an authorized payer or look at your student's account, and you will see charges start appearing on July 25th. It's important to note that these are not finalized charges. These are our system running its initial calc on the student. This is where we take time to look for errors and make sure that we're getting you accurate bills. If you see an error, feel free to call us on the 25th. It's totally fine. It just helps us find the errors faster, but we are reviewing it constantly during this time. The next date, August 3rd through the 18th. So that's when your payment plan opens up. The payment plan opens up on August 3rd. Keep in mind, we have not finalized bills yet, but you are welcome to sign up for the payment plan beginning August 3rd. You can sign up for that payment plan, which will be a 4-payment payment plan beginning August 3rd through August 18th. After the 18th, you won't be eligible for the 4-payment plan anymore, but you can still register for a 3-payment payment plan. And that's because our payment plans run on the 20th of every month. So we finalize those payments on the 18th to give us time to make sure your bill's charged. We do look at the bill in case there's been any changes, and we'll adjust it down if you've made a payment outside of it or something like that. But that's how you get into the 4-payment payment plan. I'll go a little deeper into payment plans in a bit. August 15th, that's when we generate our first bill. That's when you'll get your first official bill. By that time, everything should be finalized and the charges should be correct. I say should because there's always one that pops up that has a weird charge on it or something like that. But for the most part, that's when you get your first bill. That first bill will have a due date of August 9th. So that's when your first tuition, either your tuition is due in full or you need to be in a payment plan no later than August 9th. The next date on here is August 22nd. That's the first day of classes. That's when your student begins, and welcome to see you. That's when all the fun begins right there. August 29th, that is the last day to drop a class. Let's say your student gets into a class, they decide it's not right for them, it's not the right fit, or they want to switch their major, take a totally different direction. You have until August 29th at 11:59 p.m. to drop those classes. There's no financial penalty, nothing. It's just drop the class and you can pick up another one if you want, but nothing, it incurs absolutely nothing on the bill, and there's nothing in the transcripts as well. Oh, I accidentally went forward. Sorry about that. Okay, where did I leave off? August 29th was the last day. Okay, so September 7th. From August 29th to September 7th, and this one's a little tricky, it's at 5 p.m. on September 7th, you can still drop your courses. You will get a $100 drop fee per course that is dropped. That is good for from basically August 29th at 12 to September 7th at 5 p.m. You drop those courses, still nothing shows up on the transcripts. There's no W, nothing like that. It is just a $100 drop charge. And that's just because it's difficult for us to get that seat to another student at that point. So we discourage anything after that, but we still give you the opportunity to do it. September 7th is census date also. That is the last day to add and drop courses. That is the last day you can add and drop courses within the CU system without some sort of departmental intervention. After that, you probably have to get someone else, and it's a little more labor intensive. And then October 30th is the last day to add or drop in the system and get a W withdrawal on your transcripts. That one, you still will be financially responsible for paying the entire course up from September 7th after 5 p.m. until October 30th. You may drop the courses, but there's a W incurred on the transcripts, and you're still 100% financially responsible. So keep these dates in mind. They're very important dates, and I will repeat them throughout this. It's just what I just want to make sure that you understand.
Jason, before you move on, can
Uh-huh.
you just have a little clarification on the August 9th date? Some folks in the chat were concerned about August 9th, and I don't know.
So I may have said August 9th. I meant September 9th. If that's what I said, I apologize. So August 15th is the day we run bills. If I said August 9th, I apologize. September 9th is when bills will be due. So totally let go of that August 9th date and remember September 9th. That was my bad. Thank you for catching that, whoever did. I really appreciate it. You have until September 9th to pay the bill in full. Okay, sorry about that once again. So I just want to remind you, bills go out on August 15th. That's when our bills are finalized. There are no paper bills that come from the office of the Bursar. They all go to the student portal, or if they have set you up as an authorized payer, they will go to the authorized payer. So make sure your student sets you up as an authorized payer if you're going to be the one paying the bill. It just makes it easier for you to access and view the bills. Payment deadline, September 9th, not August 9th, it's September 9th. And you'll still see your charges as early as July 15th, but remember, those bills don't go out until August 15th. It gives us time, once again, just to look over the bills. Payment plans are open till August 18th for 4 payments. So the way our payment plan works, it runs on the 20th of every month. So it'll run August 20th, September 20th, October 20th, and November 20th. You can sign up for the payment plan anywhere along the line, but anytime it's after the 18th, you're cutting one of the payments off, if that's not too confusing. So if you sign up for after August 18th, you're going to get 3 payments on your payment plan. If you sign up after September 18th, you're going to get 2 payments on your payment plan. So just keep that in mind when you're thinking about the payment plans. Set up your authorized payer. An authorized payer is just someone who pays the bill. Just so we're clear, it doesn't, the bill belongs to your student. The student is considered an adult for all intents and purposes. So the bill belongs to the student. Authorized payer doesn't incur any kind of financial responsibility, but it does give you the option to pay the bill if that's what you choose to do. Any bills not paid by that September 9th due date will get late and service charges. We do late charges once per term, and it's between $5 and $50 depending on what your student owes. Generally, it's around the $50 mark because I think it's anything over 1,000 gets $50. And then the service charges are applied once a month after the due date, and it's 1% of the total outstanding balance. Signing up for a payment plan will waive the service charges and the late charges. As long as you're in a payment plan in good standing, no late or service charges will be applied to your account. Just so you know, payment plans do have a one-time $35 non-refundable activation fee. You can pay with a credit or a debit card, or an e-check. We always recommend you use the e-check method. That is an account number with a routing number. You put it in. We don't store that information, so we don't see that information. Those are free. Using a debit card or a credit card has a service charge attached to it, and it's 2.85% of the amount you're charging. So keep that in mind. E-checks, no service charge. We also have a drop box downstairs in front of Lake Central, which is right beside Qdoba, real close on the first floor. You're welcome to drop a payment off in there. Do not drop cash. We don't want people to drop cash in that box. It's for checks. You're welcome to drop a payment. Just make sure you have that student ID number on it so that we can identify who it needs to go to. And if you are a third-party sponsor student, make sure you have that financial guarantee form into us. It's an authorization for us to bill a third party. Have that into us no later than September 7th census date, and that will avoid latent and service charges being applied to your account. Anything after that, we'll still accept it, but no latent, but you may be subject to latent service charges if it's past the payment deadline. So just keep that in mind.
Jason, will the housing bill be available at the same time as the tuition?
That is a great question. Generally, yes. With very few exceptions, if you're late getting into housing or setting up an agreement with them, we should, because we bill not until the 15th of August, most charges will appear. That includes if your student wants to use the bookstore charge and they want to go, they can go and get their bookstore and have that added to the student account. As long as it hits before August 15th, it'll all be included in the first billing date. But generally, housing costs will be included on that bill. Okay, let's talk about, yep, sorry.
Real quick, I'm so sorry.
Nope.
We've gotten a couple questions in the chat around how many authorized payers can there be on an account. It looks like people want to at least put 2, but didn't know if there was a max amount for that.
There is no maximum on that. Just remember, anybody that you set up as an authorized payer can see all of your financial information, not your credit card, debit card information or anything like that, but they can see your bill, what you're being charged, and the classes you're registered for, because it's tied to the charges. But no limit. You can put as many people as you want on there. Okay. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about the College Opportunity Fund. The College Opportunity Fund is for in-state students. This includes VA students who qualify for the in-state rate. You are gifted with a stipend by the state of Colorado. It is something that you have to go out and claim. So on here, there's a website that says visit cough.college-assist.org. That is an important website. You have to register with that site, and you have to register with UCD as well. The Office of the Registrar can help you with that. But we will tie that information together just to prove that you're a Colorado student, and then you can authorize it to pay, and there's a lifetime authorization. So you can just say it once that you want the cough applied to your student's account, and we will automatically apply whatever the state of Colorado authorizes us every academic year. I think the current rate coming into fall 2022 is $104 per credit hour. So it's something you definitely want to take advantage of. You get 145 credits to just automatically, and then after that you can potentially apply for more, just if it's the program's going to take a little bit extra time. But definitely take advantage of the stipend and don't leave it on the table. Okay, things to know, just general things to know. Financial aid usage and permission form. Financial aid will go into this a little bit more later, but there are fees that are not automatically covered by the Office of Financial Aid. You or your student, I guess, you actually, definitely your student, not you, sorry, will have to go on and give permission for financial aid to pay miscellaneous fees. Miscellaneous fees, or non-mandatory fees is how we call them here, are stuff like if the student needs health insurance, if they are paying for parking, if they buy books in the bookstore. It also covers the late charges and service charges. You want the financial aid to pay that, you can go in and authorize it. You can always take away that authorization later, but it's just good if you don't authorize financial aid to pay it, they will not automatically pay those fees. And you may see some charges lingering out there after financial aid is applied. Generally, the charges hit, financial aid pays everything. And if there's a little bit left over, it refunds to your student. But if you don't authorize it to pay those fees, you could be left with a bill once the aid refunds. I'm gonna go one more time over latent service charges. Once an account is considered past due, so once you've gone past the September 9th billing date, you are subject to our once per term late charge and once per month service charge. Avoid those. Just be aware of your dates. Once again, the late charge is $5 to $50 depending on the balance, and the service charge is 1% per month of the outstanding debt. Once again, signing up for a payment plan removes the late and service charges both. You don't have to worry about them. And drop deadlines. The last day to drop without financial penalty, one last time, is August 29th. The last day at 11:59 p.m. The last day to drop with a $100 charge posted to your account is September 7th by 5 p.m. Just be one more time aware of those dates. We don't want them to take anybody by surprise. Refunds. This is the good part. One thing I would suggest, go in, and if your student is anticipating a refund of any kind from the office of the Bursar, go in and set up direct deposit. We run refunds daily. After I think we start right around the 15th of August. We start running refunds daily for direct deposit students. If you want to refund by check, that is something you are allowed to have. We only run those twice a week, and then mail has been pretty slow lately. So you're looking at a week or two turnaround time for mailed checks. So I always suggest that you run, or that you set up direct deposit if you're expecting any kind of refund at all. So that's basically it for my spiel. I can toss it back to Alicia now. If you have any questions, throw them in the chat and I'll be happy to keep fielding them.
Yeah, we actually have a couple questions around the 529 plans.
Oh, sure.
Is there anything that you can provide guidance on for those?
Yeah, so the one thing I would say about 529 plans, we get a lot of questions about these every year. The first thing you should do is talk to your 529 provider. They send and remit payments to us in various ways. They will either send them as a check to us, in which case you want to make sure you have your student ID number on it, or a lot now are sending us wires through, I think it's through Flywire or Nelnet. I can't remember which company does it, but they will remit through wires. One of the biggest questions we get is, what can you charge on your 529 plan? Ask your provider. Generally, it is anything that you can justify as an educational expense, but check with your 529 provider. We don't provide that kind of guidance here because sometimes they're not living on campus, but you are paying for housing outside of campus. That can reasonably be expensed as an educational expense if they're living near the downtown Denver area or in a suburb around here. So it is possible that those will be covered by your 529 plan, but definitely you want to check with your provider before submitting receipts. And then, just as a good idea, always save your receipts for your students' payments, the bills. We'll always have a copy in our portal, but if it's for anything else outside of what the school governs, just save your expenses and just know what, or save your receipts and just know what they're for. Any more questions concerning the 529 plan? All right, I'm not hearing anything, so I'm going to go ahead and toss it back to Alicia. And once again, if you have any additional questions, throw them in the chat and I'll answer them.
Thanks, Jason. Okay, at this point, we're going to switch over from billing, tuition, and fees and go over to financial aid. So I'm going to give my virtual mic to Monica, and she's going to talk to you all about financial aid, this point in process, and help address some questions that came through the chat.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you for attending this evening and learning about school and getting ready for the fall semester. So what I'm going to talk about in this presentation, we're going to just go over the process of how financial aid looks like after you've completed the FAFSA. So we're going to look at how it's going to be applied to your bill and all the things that you need to know about that. So let me get my screen ready for you guys here. So, all right. Can everybody see my screen? Okay, cool. So what we're going to talk about right now, what you have completed your FAFSA, you've turned in your documents, and now what we just want to know, how do you know when it's time for your financial aid to be dispersed and if you have everything that you need? So if you have already been offered a financial aid award, that means you've already submitted all the documents that we are requesting and any paperwork that you need to complete. So you'll be able to see that through your student portal, and you have received an email with your award. So if you don't have your financial
Hey,
aid
Monica,
award yet.
sorry to interrupt. It doesn't look like you're in presentation mode. We still see, the whole slide deck and some notes.
Okay, it's showing the wrong screen then, because I see it on the other side.
Zoom likes to do that.
Yeah, how do I do that?
I think maybe if you stop share and then reshare, sometimes that helps flip.
Yeah, you'll just select the different screen, the other
Okay.
screen.
Okay, let's try this. Is that working now? All
Yep,
right,
that's
thank
good.
you. Sorry, I did not know that was going on. Alrighty. So, okay. So we're talking now about if you have your financial aid award, then you have already completed all the paperwork. So if you have not received that yet, make sure you're checking your to-do list in your student portal. And if you think that everything's complete or something has been processing for a long time, please reach out to us so we can take a look and see what's going on with that. I'm hearing some feedback. Does somebody have a question, or is there something else? Okay. All right, that's good. Okay, so after you have your financial aid award, and some of you might have already accepted your federal student loans. So if you have already done that step of your financial aid, then you also need to complete your entrance counseling and the master promissory note. It will be part of your to-do list after you accept it. So if you don't see it yet, like let's say you accepted it today, it won't be there until you actually accept it. But you can also complete these items before you accept your loans. Your entrance counseling will pretty much just tell you everything that you need to know for your student loans. So it'll give you basics like this is the interest rates, any loan fees. It even gives you like a calculator on how that's going to look like when you're going to pay that back in the future. So it's a good tool to use so you're understanding what your loan is. And then the master promissory note is basically a loan agreement, just saying you will be paying that loan back in the future and you're using it for educational purposes. So those two things are required to receive your loan disbursements. And so if you haven't received your financial aid, we're just going to go into this just a little bit again. This is how your to-do list will look like. It'll show you, hey, you need to complete these things, gives you the details. So you should already see those things if you've already received your financial aid. This will be updated once we process things or review your paperwork. So always keep reviewing this, because sometimes there will be something throughout the semester that, oh, you received a scholarship. Now you have to complete your letter of understanding, which you will also see on your to-do list. You do need to complete that if you have applied for any scholarships through Scholarship Universe. So those are required. So it's good to always make sure you're checking on your to-do list. So now that you have completed all your financial aid documents, all of your loan documents, when does my financial aid apply to my bill? So with the Bursars, your bill will be available before school starts, but your financial aid will not be posting to your bill until roughly about a week before the semester begins. So if you have all of your documents in and everything is set in stone, then your financial aid will pay that week before school starts. And if you don't see that your financial aid is being applied to that, then that means there's something going on with your account. So reach out to us. Keep in mind during the fall startup with August, that is the busiest time of the year for financial aid. So if you do have questions around like your financial aid and everything that's going on like that, it's going to be a little bit longer to get in touch with somebody. So definitely use our FAQs. And when you email us, we'll have FAQs too, basic questions that people might have. So use those as resources. They might answer your questions. So yeah, if you have your financial aid, you'll be able to see that it's applied to your bill. And then again, like Jason was referring to, if your financial aid is more than what your bill is, then you will receive a refund. And so for this, if you have a financial aid Parent Plus loan, when you're the parent completing the application, you have the option to either have the refund be mailed directly to you, or you can have your student set up direct deposit and the refund will go directly to them. So if that's what you want, the student will have to do it through their student portal, and then the funds will be deposited into that account. But if you don't want your student to have those funds and want it to be directed to you, and then you can manage it together, then there's an option to mail the check, but there's no option for a parent to set up direct deposit for a parent direct deposit. Do I have any questions so far before I move on? Okay. So with your financial aid, if you still haven't accepted your loans and you're still a little bit iffy on how to do that, you will have the option to accept and decline it through your student portal. So when you are a new student, well, not just a new student, this is for every student. Every time you're offered a loan at the beginning of the fall semester, the way that it's set up is it's divided by the fall and spring. So whatever amount you accept will be split evenly between the two semesters. So let's say you only need $500 of your student loan for fall. You don't want to accept just for the fall, because then you'll only get half of that. And there's also loan fees. So you also want to keep in mind just to accept a little bit more of that. But when you do your entrance counseling, it will give you more details on how those loan fees work. And we do have this page here. So if you want to take notes on these links that I have here, our how-to guide page gives you a lot of great information on step-by-step guides on, how to accept your loans, how to view your financial aid, how to set up direct deposit and things like that. So definitely use that. There's a lot of good information in there. And then even when you're applying for financial aid, starting from completing the FAFSA and doing your documents. So we do have a lot of good resources. Again, if we do get busy, try to see if you can look on these resources so we can help you in other ways if we can't get to you. So for the Parent Plus loans, if you are a new student, and you have received your financial aid award and you see your federal student loans, but you will not see the Parent Plus loan. And the reason for this is we don't want parents to feel shocked. Sometimes that number is really high. I've seen it between $20,000 to $40,000, and that is a really big loan that you are applying for. So what we did is, you look at your cost of attendance, and then it gives you the power to kind of decide how much you want to apply for the Parent Plus loan. So this Parent Plus loan, you will apply for it on studentaid.gov, and the application will run your credit. So you want to keep that in mind. It is a credit-based application. And once we receive that, and once we start processing these Parent Plus loans, then you'll be able to see it in your student portal that it's accepted. So if you've completed the application right now we haven't processed any of the Parent Plus loans for next year yet, but you're able to complete the application now. But if, let's say it's a week before school starts and you're still not seeing that Parent Plus loan in the portal and you've completed it, reach out to us and we'll be able to see what's going on with the loan. Something that's common that I see a lot is a student will complete the Parent Plus loan with their FSA ID account. And then the student completes the application just like a parent and it runs their credit. So you want to make sure that if you're doing this, you are using the parent FSA ID account. You don't want to be using your student account, and that could be a factor. So definitely check that out. So when you are offered your financial aid award, it is based on 12 credits full-time enrollment. So if you're a student who received grants, all of your grants are awarded to you based on 12 credits. So we don't anticipate everybody to be enrolled in 12 credits. Maybe you want to start a little bit easier on your first semester and you want to be part-time. Then you want to just make sure that your financial aid award, keep that in mind, that it is based on 12 credit hours. And so when census comes, what we have to do is we have to reduce your grants if you're not enrolled full-time. So whenever you're changing enrollment, whether it's from, before that drop deadline or even after that drop deadline, your grants can be adjusted. So just keep that in mind. Reach out to us if you are thinking about dropping a class in the middle of the semester. Your aid could potentially be pulled back. And it's good just to make sure you're communicating with us when you are thinking about these things. For example, if you dropped a class that you're just like, I just haven't been going to that class and I don't want the credit for that anymore, but you have a W. So we'll have to contact the professor of that class and let them know, hey, did this student actually attend? Did they do their assignments? And if there's no attendance or anything like that, then you technically did not earn your financial aid for that. And so we have to pull back that money and you will have to pay that back. It's always good to communicate with our office if you are feeling unsure about a class or dropping it. But if you know that you've been attending classes, you're doing your assignments and it's just a little bit overwhelming, then, and you have those grants, then they should be okay. But if you're uncomfortable, just reach out to us. And then the last thing I want to touch on is if you have any special circumstances. So for your FAFSA, for the 22-23 FAFSA, it is based on 2020 income information, which was 2 years ago, and a lot can happen in 2 years. So we understand, maybe there's a job shift or somebody in the household lost their job and now we don't have as many finances. There's a lot of factors that can happen where your FAFSA information is no longer current to what it is. So if there is anything like that, where a situation where, maybe mom lost their job and now dad is supporting everybody and it's just not enough to make ends meet, we can definitely take a look at your circumstance to see if we can reevaluate your financial aid and see if you can be eligible for more grant funding. And so if you are looking into this, it is a really long process. Our processing time for these income appeals usually is 6 to 8 weeks. So if you're looking into that, you just want to make sure you put some time aside for that. And if this is something that you think that you need to apply for, in your student portal, you'll be able to use a professional judgment calculator where it'll take like your information from your FAFSA and then you'll put in new ones to see, okay, this is what current information is. Is this going to help me with what, getting financial aid? And then I have the link on this page here. It tells you, it tells you like the different kind of special circumstances that you can apply for. So it's not just specifically like losing a job. It's just anything that's changing in your finances. And then it'll allow you to log in and complete that special circumstance calculator. So that way, you get to complete it and see if it would even benefit you, because sometimes we've seen it where the student submits the application, we're going back and forth and it's been 2-3 months, just at the end, the FAFSA is saying, no, they're not eligible for it. So use this calculator so you can save yourself some time because it is a long process. So I know that was a lot of information. There's going to be a lot of financial aid questions you will probably have along the way, but we're here to help. And there's a lot of resources. You can reach out to our Link Central. You can talk to them in person. They are available to you. And then you can email us also at financial aid. Right now, we currently don't have appointments, so the best way to get in contact with us is through the phone or email. And again, like you said, you can just come to the Link Central front desk and they can also help with financial aid questions. And I'll go ahead and turn it back to Alicia so we can hopefully open it up for questions.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a couple of questions. The first one I have for you is for scholarships. If a scholarship application is still under review status, do we know when folks will get an answer if they've been awarded?
Yeah, so if you do see a scholarship in Scholarship Universe that is still under review, it could be one of those scholarships that are specific to a department. So each department kind of has their own timeline for reviewing these applications. The general ones for the whole school, like that's not department specific. Those ones have already been decided. But if you're still waiting on some, those ones will not have a decision until they're ready. So if you have something that's waiting, definitely reach out to that department. Let's say it's the English department. See if you can get in contact with them to say, hey, when are you guys going to be done reviewing the scholarships?
Okay, and then for this one question, I think I can answer. I have a quick question. What is the enrollment fee? Dana, we actually do not have an enrollment fee at CU Denver. So other institutions typically will charge $250, whatever it is, before you can enroll. We do not have an enrollment fee. We cover that through the student's matriculation fee. Let's see, other question. So there was one about, do you recommend that a parent apply for a PLUS loan to cover anticipated cost just for 1 year or for all 4 years?
Yeah, so the Parent Plus loan, as long as a student is eligible and they're a dependent student, you're eligible to complete a Parent Plus loan application every year that they're eligible for. So if you decide, okay, let's just apply for this loan for this year and kind of break it up for the 4 years, you're welcome to do that. But the Parent Plus loan does have interest that accrues right away on that. So you just want to keep in mind, maybe if you wait till next year, your interest will only accrue on this small portion that you're taking out, whereas if you're taking out like a $20,000 loan, the interest will be based on that. But the nice thing with the Parent Plus loan and any federal student loans, you can begin making payments on that as soon as you want to. There's no penalty. So if you're a parent and you want to take out that loan, and you can start paying that back right away, or you can wait until the student has graduated to pay for that loan back. It's kind of up to you how you want to do that with your loan.
Okay, and another question, if a student has a scholarship from, example, Partner Colorado Foundation and the AVID program in high school, how do those get applied?
Yeah, so what will happen with those, each donor, the private donor, has their own way of how they're going to release a scholarship. Sometimes scholarship donors will give a check directly to a student. So if you get a check from a scholarship donor and it's made out to you, the student, then you will have to cash that out yourself and use it to pay for, whatever you need, like your books or your tuition. But sometimes they have to reach out to the school. So what they'll do is they'll reach out to financial aid or scholarships, have them reach out to their scholarship team, and their email is scholarship@ucdenver.edu. And then they'll set up everything and they'll mail the scholarship check to us, and then we get it processed on our end to be applied to your bill. So it really depends on the donor on how they like to release the funds to students.
Thank you. All right, we have just a few minutes left. I think I got all of the questions that were asked in the chat. If you asked a question and it has not been answered, I invite you to please put that in the chat one more time and we will make sure that it does get addressed. want to make sure that we are cognizant of your all's time and that we do get your questions addressed. I have a question. I got financial aid mentioned in the admit cart now. How can I claim that? So are you saying you see your award?
So if you receive your financial aid award, you'll be able to see it through your student portal. If you see that you have any grants or scholarships, those do not need to be accepted through the portal. If you do have a scholarship through Scholarship Universe, then there is that additional step to complete your letter of offer, just to make sure that you know what the special circumstances are that you need to meet to keep that scholarship. But other than that, the only thing you'll need to accept is your loans and complete the items for that for your financial aid.
Okay, and Lucas, I see your question. If you got a scholarship from somewhere else, do we need to let the school know? The answer is no. If your scholarship is given directly to the student, meaning the check is being paid directly to the student, you do not need to let us know about that scholarship. However, if the scholarship is requesting that the student provide enrollment verification, or if they want it to go directly to the university, that's when that scholarship, that third-party scholarship, would then contact the financial aid office. But if it's going directly to you all, you do not need to notify the university that it's been received. Okay, a couple more questions. What is the top aid awarded? Blake, that's a hard question to answer. It really is based on family contributions, income-based. There's grants on the federal, state, and university level. So that there's no general amount that's available for top aid. It really is dependent on financial circumstances for the family. Question. Payment plan will include plans not only for tuition, but also housing and dining. Same schedule, separate, or part of one payment. So Jason, just to reiterate, the payments for housing do follow the same schedule as tuition and fees.
Correct. And the only exception being if you have a late, let's say you don't get into housing until August 16th. We have already run our bill for that month, so that's not going to be part of that bill. So it also won't be due on September 9th. That one will go at our billing that happens at the beginning of September and will be due on September 30th. But for most charges, including housing, it has to be an exception mainly that will be all included on the first bill.
Thank you. And Aya, I see your question as well, the specific scholarship for College of Architecture and Planning. For that, you are going to want to contact the architecture department, and they will be able to give you an answer of whether or not that has been awarded or they are still awarding. Some scholarships at the university are at the school and college level. So while a majority do go through financial aid and scholarships, the school and colleges, and by schools and colleges, I mean architecture and planning, liberal arts and sciences, arts and media, et cetera, sometimes they house their own scholarships and award those themselves. So for that particular one, you do want to contact architecture and planning directly. Question, how does it work if the bill goes out August 15th and the payment plan is due on August 19th? So if the bill, as Jason had said, you will be able to view an estimate of your bill starting July 25th. However, the first week of August, your student should be checking their email for an email from the Bursar saying, log into your portal, your bill is ready to view and pay. So you actually can start setting up that payment plan before the 19th. So 19th is the last day for a payment plan if you wanted to do 4 installments or make 4 payments, right? Because the first payment will be August 20th, September 20th, October 20th, and November 20th. So in order to get in on that first payment option, you do need to have your payment plan set before the 19th. So bills are actually going to be due paid in full unless you have a payment plan on file in September. Okay. And then William, who manages the 9/11 process? That is going to be our Veteran and Military Student Services. And so Kristen did post the link to their office. You can definitely reach out to them. They're pretty much on top of it. From my understanding, it's the state and federal levels that tend to hold things up. So I do recommend that you connect with our Veteran and Military Student Services as soon as possible. Is there a separate payment plan needed for housing and dining? No, the payment plan will be all inclusive of both housing as well as tuition and fees. You're all very welcome, not a problem. All right, I think we've gotten through all of the questions. I do want to be mindful of your all's time, so if you do need to hop off, I invite you to do so now. Again, this recording will be on the orientation website, the family engagement website, and some various social media websites as well. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for your support of your students. It does make a world of difference. The more knowledge you have, the more you can help support them. Don't do it for them. They'll have to learn, but you can be there next to them as they navigate this, I guess, hashtag adulting world that everyone gets so excited for. But we're excited to have you all. CASFA, that's a great question. What about CASFA? Apply for it. It's available for folks. Monica, do you have anything specific you want to mention about CASFA?
So for CASFA, these are students who have the asset DACA status. So that will be what you will complete if you can't complete the FAFSA. And then you will be eligible to receive some state funding, but that's all we have available right now for those students who complete the CASFA.
Great. And one more question. If we do not see the promissory note in the student access, how do we access that document? That's actually a great question. So where can they find the promissory notes?
Yeah, so if you don't see that in the to-do list yet, that just means you haven't accepted your loan yet. But if you want to do this ahead of time, you can log into studentaid.gov, and it will be in the section where I'm currently a student, and then it'll give you a list of things that you need to complete, and you can see yours there if you've already completed it, or you can complete it there.
All right, so with that, I'm going to go ahead and end this session as we're about 5 minutes over. Please do not hesitate to reach out to the orientation office, reach out to our family engagement team. In this chat, I just put a link to our parent and family website where you can find the link to this recording. You can find the link to some online modules for parents and families that will go over financial aid, as well as a bunch of other resources. So the modules are almost like an online orientation for you all, where you can tap in, ask your students some questions if they've got connected with certain things. And there are also more events and opportunities for you all to connect. At this website, you'll be able to sign up for the upcoming online Zoom family and guest orientation as well, and just stay in touch with the university. Good question, Lucas, about books. When will students know about books? Books, right now, faculty are uploading their book, or I guess providing their list of books to the bookstore. So come the first week of August, students should be able to go to the Auraria bookstore. They'll select CU Denver as their campus, and then they can start telling the system what courses they're registered for, and the system will tell them what the required books are. Also have them start checking their email. Around the first week of August, faculty will also start emailing students, giving them a heads up on what books they should be looking to purchase for the semester. Not all faculty do that, but there are quite a few that do. If you are out of state, you can you have a couple of options. You can have your books mailed to you, or you can wait until you're on campus the week before the start of the semester and you can go to the bookstore. We also have a lot of students that will tell you you can purchase your books on Amazon. Just be cognizant of the shipping dates. A lot of time you can find a really great deal on a textbook. However, the shipping on that textbook, it will not be until September 30th sometimes, which is almost half of the semester. So you can get your books anywhere, but the bookstore will have the required book list for your students. And yes, you can take orientation part 2 before you do part 1. There's no difference. They just complete both parts of it. So some folks we actually have a part 2 session this Friday. There will be some folks in attendance that have not completed part 1. That's okay. It's not a problem. They just did things a little bit differently. To each his own. And Audrey, you can get information about part 2 on our CU Denver orientation. And then also, Kelsey, would you mind posting the link for the part 2 workshops again? Thank you. And Kelsey will also post the link to register for the workshops for part 2. So if you want to grab that link, pass it off to your student, or if you are the student, you can go ahead and sign up for that. Thank you, Kelsey. For your COF College Assist Board, if they have not already done the COF application, then they would go there. If you've already completed the College Opportunity Fund application, if you go to that webpage, you actually can't redo your application, nor can you update the application. So what happens is you authorize the College Opportunity Fund through the student portal. If anyone is having trouble navigating that, I am going to put my email in the chat, and feel free to reach out to me, and I am happy to walk you all through the process. I've done that quite a few times. But okay, I want to thank you all again for joining us. I am going to go ahead and close down this session. Don't hesitate to reach out to orientation@ucdenver.edu, family@ucdenver.edu. You have my email. Jason put his email and Cotton phone in there. So don't hesitate to reach out to any of us. You all have a wonderful night, and we will be in touch. See you all. Bye.